Let's bring up the field for this one. They'll be out the turf course, going the distance of a mile, and we'll start with the 5-horse Thought Process. Now, this will be the pilot to watch. Per Scott Hazelton gets Hector Berrios aboard for Phil D'Amato, and outside of the start, 2 back in the Breeders' Cup has been very impressive.
Oh, she's just been incredibly consistent, and especially when they transitioned her over to the turf course in here. We're taking a look at her 3-year-old debut. This is what she was expected to do. She was 20 cents on the dollar. It was a field of 5. It was an allowance race just to get the ball rolling again with an eye on some bigger stakes races towards the summer at Del Mar. And she did exactly what she needed to do. Went straight to the front, drew away from the competition late, and she certainly did take a big step forward from age 2 to age 3.
This is going to be a very competitive running. A field of 9 going forward for this one. In terms of what we have seen from As Catch Can, the 4 10-1 could be the long shot price of the field there for trainer JT Jonathan Thomas. For the inside, we've got Will Then as well, the one sitting at 4-1. Last out, didn't quite have it in the Edgewood over at Churchill Downs, but looking for a bounce back.
It didn't quite have it in the Edgewood, but I mean, she was taking on one of the best 3-year-old turf fillies in the country. Nitrogen, she won by 1 million lengths on the dirt in her next start. Just missed by a nose in a grade 1 on the turf after that. Lush Lips, the second-place finisher, came back to win a stakes in the Tepin. This is her most recent victory in the China Doll. It was a slow pace, sat just off the pace setter, made a move going into the far turn, and you can see pulling away late to win by a length and a half. 2 starts back at Santa Anita.
Taking a look at the field for this one in terms of the game plan. There's not a bunch of early lick signed up. I guess you get that with Thought Process and Amarita, the 6. What are we making the chances here of the 2? The 3-year-old filly there for Bob Baffert, who knows a little thing or two about getting winners home down there at Del Mar.
It would be a little bit different with the graded stakes on the turf for Bob Baffert here, but Casalou, as far as I can tell, the only turf route winner by the sire of Caracaro, who's a stallion of Uncle Mo. We go back to the Sweet Life Stakes. This is her most recent start, going 6.5 furlongs down the hill. And look, she's got really good speed here as well. Half mile, 44-2. Of course, you would expect that going down the hillside turf course. But even the Blue Norther, that was a pretty fast pace. I like the touch of versatility that she showed when she was routing, sitting just off the pace, finished off her race nicely. She is sharp. You need to respect her. She goes for 3 in a row for the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert.
Kazushi Kimura gets set to pilot there. Casalou, the 2, trained by the Hall of Famer Bob Baffert. It really feels like it could be a little more wide open than what this board is telling us going off the morning line. Let's take a look at the old Green Day. Yes, we're talking about making money, not the band. Winners of the San Clemente and the Del Mar Oaks in the same year since 1990. Last year, Ice Cream, You Scream was so impressive. Anisette there in 2023. Some of the big names in the game going back to Flawlessly in 91.
Of course, for Charlie Whittingham in the early 90s, Hollywood Wildcat for Neil Drysdale in 93. The exact same year, the Hollywood Wildcat would win the Breeders' Cup Distaff at Santa Anita, defeating Passiana. And this is the stepping stone into the Del Mar Oaks later on this summer.